Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for coming on in to the class today. This is Crochet 101, the basics of crochet. My name is Cece and I'm from Crochet Like the Pros. And this is lesson 2. Lesson 2 is hook basics. So I wanted to bring this lesson to you because I feel that it's important that when you're starting your journey as a crocheter, that you are familiar with hooks and the different types of hooks that are available to you, so that you are starting off on a great path. So first I'd like to mention is that the most common types of hook that you're going to see are going to be the metal hooks. The metal hooks are very, very popular. This is a straight metal hook, which doesn't have any ergonomic appendages to it, and it's just on the straight and narrow. The great thing about metal hooks are that they are really sturdy. They don't bend, they don't break. And metal hooks, they come in two different types of material, which is the straight metal or the brushed aluminum. So this is a great type of hook for you to get started with, especially when you are first learning, because the metal hooks will have the yarn sliding back and forth really easily, so that you're able to learn quickly how to control the tension of the yarn, because that is one thing that you're going to need to learn soon, is how to get your tension under control. So a smooth sliding hook and yarn is a great start for you to get your tension established. And of course, metal hooks, they come in either the plain non-ergonomic option, or they do come with an ergonomic option that what makes it comfortable to hold, not only just to hold, but because metal hooks can be somewhat stressful because they're very rigid. They don't have any flexibility to it, and it does put a lot of stress on your thumb and your index finger. The silicone absorbs a lot of that stress, which makes it a more comfortable way to crochet when you're working on your projects. So, and as you can see, ergonomic handles come in a different variety. Here, you'll also see that this is a flat option, not as round as this one or these two, but this option is really nice and comfortable to use, especially if you hold your crochet hook in the knife method. With the knife method, you'll find that it's really comfortable to use. So these are going to be the most common type of hooks that you're going to see. You're going to see metal hooks almost everywhere that they sell crocheting supplies. The next material that hooks are made out of course, is plastic and resin. So I'm pretty sure you see, resin hooks. They come in a lot of different types of varieties. You see with little charms in them, or you may even see them full of glitter, and that's just to give it a little, sis boom ba, a little sparkle there for you to enjoy your working experience. But you can definitely use, the plastic crochet hooks. They're great to work with. And one thing also that I wanted to point out is that these are a softer type of a plastic hooks. And with these hooks, you'll see that it has a lot more bendability to it. And what I like about these hooks that they're able to bend is that when you are working with a more rigid type of hook that doesn't allow a lot of bending, and you're feeling some stress in your hands, where you're feeling the stress in your thumb and in your index finger and maybe here in your joint, then you can go ahead and you can switch to a soft plastic hook, which has a nice, like I said, the bendability to it, and which will absorb a lot of the stress that you put on your thumb and index finger while you're crocheting. And then last but not leastly, there are wooden bamboo hooks. The ones that I have here are a set of bamboo. I don't have any wooden hooks to show you, but bamboo hooks are definitely, you know, a nice to work with. You do have to be careful because they do break and splinter under pressure. So it's not a hook that you're going to use, especially when you're just starting to learn how to crochet. I'm going to ask you to try to avoid using the wooden and bamboo hooks, just because since you're going to be learning how to grip your hook and your yarn, and you may put a little extra pressure on there, and then you don't want to end up breaking any of your hooks. So these are the main types of materials that hooks are going to be made out of. You're going to see them in a straight metal brushed aluminum, or you're going to see them in plastic, resin, or even the soft plastic, or you will see them in the bamboo wooden ones, which, you know, they're all great options for you to use as you go along down your crochet journey. For now, for this class, I'm going to ask you to start getting your inventory or your collection of your straight hooks. Your straight hooks are what you're going to use in this series of Crochet 101. And you will definitely start off with the H hook. So for the next classes that are coming up, I want you to have an H hook metal or the H hook that's brushed aluminum. And it can be either the straight handle or the ergonomic option, whichever you choose to get. I would also suggest that to begin with, that you have a full set of metal hooks, because when you are starting a project, starting off with your metal hooks to get the feel of how the fabric is going to go along is going to be a great stepping stone for you to do. And then if you want to switch up and you want to use, you know, maybe like a wooden hook or a plastic hook, then you can go ahead and do that. And another thing that I wanted to mention is that working with wooden hooks and working with the plastic hooks, you're going to find that your yarn doesn't necessarily slide easily as it does with your metal hook. You will be able to feel the drag of the yarn on the hook, and you can definitely also will be able to hear the squeakiness sometimes that happens when you're using a plastic hook with your yarn. Now, does that mean that you can't use the plastic hook? Of course not. You can definitely use the plastic hook, but you're going to find yourself adding a little bit more pressure to go ahead and insert the hook into the stitch. And then when you're making your yarn overs that you're pulling through, you're going to also find that you're going to work a little bit harder to pull through. So that's why I want you to go ahead and start with your basic straight metal hook, which is easier for you to work with, and you won't put that much stress on your hands. So when it comes to wood hooks, wooden hooks, metal hooks, you know, plastic, resin, whichever type of hook that you select, that you feel that you want to use, you are going to find that there are two different styles of hooks. Now, there's tons of different brands. Okay, there's tons of, you know, a lot of different brands. You can see this one here, I think it's Loops and Threads. This one here is a Clover. This one here is a Lion brand. This one here is Susan Bates. This one here is Susan Bates. And then I do have one, this one here is Boy. And then even this metal one here that I have is boy. So there are a lot of different brands that make crochet hooks. But the one important thing that I want to definitely come and show you is that there are two different styles of crochet hooks. And you're going to notice that your first style of crochet hooks is called the Susan Bates style. And with the Susan Bates style, you're going to notice that it has a larger throat. So it has a real deep throat area here, which is able to catch the yarn quickly. And it does have a pointed tip, which will make it easier for you to pierce through your stitches. That is the difference between the Susan Bates and the boy style. So here, this is a boy style hook. And with the boy style hook, you will notice that it has a very short throat. It's not cut in as deeply as this one, as the Susan Bates is. This one has more of a rounder throat to it. And even the tip, you can see that the tip here is even rounder. You'll see that the hook itself for the Susan Bates is very sharp. And for the boy, it's also nice and round. So those are the two main differences between the hooks that you will see. Does it mean that you cannot use one or the other? You can use both. You can use both for whichever project or whatever yarn you want to use. The preference is yours. There's some people that prefer the Susan Bates style hook, and there are people that prefer the boy style hook. Personally, I will use them both. I have no problems with that. Okay, and then we're going to move into the anatomy of your hook. So knowing the anatomy of your hook is important because it's important for you to know when you're using your hook, where is where, what is what, and who is who, right? Because if anything happens with our hook, we need to know what in the heck is going on. So when it comes to the knowing the anatomy of your hook, your hook is actually created in 8 different parts. So of course you're going to have your hook, which is right here, this part right there, and then you're going to have the tip, which is right here, and your hook is where you hook the yarn. The tip is where you pierce your stitches to go into. And then you have the throat. The throat is this right here, okay, this slant. And your throat is where guides the yarn to land into the hook, all right? And then you have what is called the shank, and the shank is this right here. And this is called either the shank or the shaft. And I refer to it as the shank. And this right here is where all of your stitches will be made. Okay, you're going to make all of your stitches here, all of your yarn over. When you work, you always land on your shank and you work on your shank. Then we have the grip, okay, and your grip is, where you have the area to rest your thumb, and you have your area to rest your index finger, and then you have the handle. And you will notice that your handle is always going to be with the common style hooks. Your handle is always going to be the same diameter as your shank, okay? And these are with common style hooks. We're not talking about hooks that are, made with polymer clay or, the fancy wooden carved ones. We're talking about the regular common everyday hooks that we use. So I wanted to bring that there. And then, like I said, for every hook that you have, there is also going to be an ergonomic option for you to use. So you can definitely buy your set of metal ergonomic hooks, or you can buy a set of the plain metal hooks, and then you can start off with the straight hook, and if when you get tired you can switch to the ergonomic, or you can just start off with the ergonomic itself, as long as we're talking about the metal hook for you to be able to work within this class. All right, and then moving along, like I said, there are tons of different types of hooks out there. There are glass hooks, there are polymer clay, there are big fancy wooden carved hooks. You can see people are making now hooks like with different types of beads. They're shaped like with like SpongeBob, and a lot of different caricatures that you can buy them with. Those hooks I want you to leave alone. I don't want you to purchase any of those hooks yet, because right now the most important part of you learning how to crochet is how you're going to be using and holding your hook and your yarn, so that together you will be able to master your tension. After you've got your tension mastered, that you've been crocheting and you've been practicing, then you can, if you see one of those hooks that have the little Mickey Mouse bead and you want to go ahead and grab it, go ahead and grab it. But for the beginning, I want you to stay and use your metal hooks. I don't want you even to get the plastic hooks or the resin hooks, definitely not the wooden or the bamboo. I want you to start off with the good classic metal or aluminum hooks with your ergonomic option. So moving along, then the next thing that I wanted to also teach you is that hooks come in a common variety of sizes, and your sizes are usually from a B all the way to this is a L, but it comes even up to M, N, O, P, and then there's like a Q and an S, and those are the bigger crochet hooks that you'll find that a lot of people will use to work with, like the Bernat chenille yarns, or the big plushy yarns that's like that big fuzzy chunky, or the super chunky yarns, those big hooks. And then there are also smaller hooks that are like for doilies and lace work that you can definitely purchase if you need them. But for you to buy your set, the most common sizes are going to be a B, okay, and a B is a 2.5 millimeter hook. And then you're going to also have a C. The C is a 2.75 millimeter hook. Then you will find a D. A D is a 3.25 millimeter hook. And then we have the F. And then the E. The E is a 3.5 millimeter hook. Then we have the F. The F is a 3.75 millimeter hook. Then we have our G, and your G is going to be your 4 millimeter. And then you have your H, the trusty good old H, which is your 5 millimeter. And then you're also going to have your I. Your I is your 5.5 millimeter. And then of course we have our J, and your J is the 6 millimeter. And then you have your K. Your K is your 6.5 millimeter. And then of course the largest that you will find in common sets are going to be your L, and your L is an 8 millimeter. So these are the most common sizes of hooks that you will find. You will find larger hooks, like here I have the this one is a N, a 10 millimeter, and this one here is a P, and 11.5 millimeter. And then you'll have bigger ones and smaller ones, as I spoke about. So there are also some that are not very common that you will only be able to purchase if you're looking for them. They normally do not come in a set. And that is the size 7 hook. And the size 7 hook is between the G and the H, right? So it will be the 4 millimeter, the 4.5 millimeter, and then the 5 millimeter. And then you will also find the 3, and the 3 size hook is between the C and the D hook. So it is the, excuse me, it is the 2.75 millimeter, then the 3 millimeter, then the 3.25 millimeter. So these, there are some, like I said, even that you will find after the L, you will find the M. The M hook is also not a hook that is used wisely, but they were made because some people wanted a hook size that it's in between the C and the D. They wanted somewhere in between that, so they created the 3. And then someone they petitioned into makers, and we need something in between the G and the H, right? The 4 and the 5. So they created the 4.5. So if you're looking for these hooks, they are available, but they normally are not included in your sets. So I wanted to also bring that for you all to know. And as you travel along in your crochet journey, you will definitely figure out which sizes of crochet hooks you prefer to have plenty of, because you know that you're always going to be using those sizes, and then which sizes you can kind of skip because you know that you'll never be able to, you won't have a use for them at all. So I just wanted to also show you that they do have the smaller size hooks, and these hooks here, as you can see, these are made for lace work. So lace work such as you can make doilies and maybe like lace collars and all of those fancy thin lace fabrics that are made with these hooks here. These hooks do not have a letter attached to them, but they do have the millimeters is actually what they're known for. So then you can definitely also use them, look for them by sizes. So you can look for a size 1 hook, a size 7 hook, size 8 hook, and they will correspond with these smaller size hooks here. And then, I'm just showing you this in case you're interested, and maybe you want to start crocheting, doilies and lace work, and you want to get into it. So then you have that option there. All right. And then lastly, but not leastly, I wanted to bring to you another part of the lesson, and that is the method in which you hold your hook. So there are 2 ways that you can hold your hook. You can hold your hook the knife style method, or you can hold your hook the pencil style method. If you feel that you would like to learn how to crochet using the pencil style, and it's easier for you to work your yarn, and you can go in and out and do your zigzags and whatever with your pencil method, and you find that that's something that's natural to you, and you prefer to use the pencil method, then by all means go ahead and use that method. The second method is the knife method, and the knife method is where you will go ahead and you will also create your loops and do whatever it is that you need to do with your stitches, but you will always hold your crochet hook by the grip, and you will hold it with the knife method. And if you find that method is easier for you to crochet with, then by all means. Of course, my favorite method is the knife method, where I'm able to let my hook do all of the work. Okay, So those are two different ways of holding your hook. And so that brings us to the end of hook basics. We've covered the different types of materials that the hooks are made out of. We've covered the two styles. You know your anatomy of your hook. You know where the shank is. You know where the handle is. You know where the tip is. You know what sizes they come in, the most common, some that are not so common, of course. And you just learned how to hold your hook using either the pen style or the pencil style or the knife style. So that wraps up the lesson for today. So your assignment is going to be for this lesson is that you're going to organize your hooks. And I want you to look around and see at your stash, and I want you to start with your metal hooks, and I want you to look and see if you find yourself that you have like 4 or 5 H hooks and you don't have anything else, then you can definitely go on wherever you get your hooks from. You can buy a complete set. Some sets are very, very economical. And if it's still not within your budget, then I want you to start, purchasing either, you're going to start purchasing your your B, C, D, E, and F. So you're going to start purchasing your H, I, J, Ks, and all the way till you have your common sizes completed. And by the end of this class, by the end of the whole series, I should say, of this class, it would be ideal for you to have a full set of metal hooks and to have a full set of metal ergonomic option hooks already purchased, already have, and ready to use for your crochet journey. So thank you guys for joining me in this lesson all about hooks, hook basics. You guys have been wonderful, and I shall see you again in the next lesson.